Okay, students, can someone check whether this live stream is working? Someone check whether this live stream is working. Someone check
Working,
whether
sir.
this live
Yes, sir,
stream.
it's working, sir.
All right, sure.
Someone
Thank
check
you. Whether this now. So is my screen visible to you on the over the Google Meet? No, right?
No, sir.
Yeah, just a second.
No, sir.
Okay, so is the screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, sure. Thank you.
Sir, there
Yes.
has been one problem with Moodle, sir. It's not opening, I think. Means there is any server error.
What is the server error? I'm able to go to Moodle.
Sir, my Moodle opened today after trying.
Oh, actually, it was
10
not
times.
working yesterday. Not yesterday, but day before yesterday. Maybe sometime in the evening to yesterday afternoon, it was not working. Okay, because they were actually doing some work in the server room regarding migration of the ISPs and some things. Okay, so now it's not working. Abhineet, can you check whether the Moodle is working for you right now? Is it loading?
No, sir.
No, sir. It's showing error.
What error is it showing? Is it showing you an OAuth error?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with the OAuth error, that must be something related to the Google login or something, which I'm not quite sure why that was happening. So, in the meantime, right, I suggest you to just a second. Yeah, in the meantime, you can try logging in with the not with the Google account, but with your username password, which is your email address, which is your IIIT email address, and the password that is shared to you by your email. Okay, so try logging in with that. Even I am actually getting such an error, and I have been trying to figure out what is the problem. So, for example, when I am trying to log into my Moodle with my IIIT email address, I get this particular error. Okay, and unfortunately I am not able to get any further details regarding like what has happened. Okay, so I do not want to tell you that I will fix this immediately. Of course, this is an additional login feature that I have given. So what I would suggest is you click on login and you enter your username and the password that is given to you. So right now I have two accounts, like one is the admin super admin account, and one is the faculty account. Can you please check whether it is working right now that way, Abhineet?
Okay, sir. I'll try.
Yeah, please. Okay, so we were learning memory management, right? We were last week, that is what I told you, that we will be doing this today. Okay, so I want to actually cover two topics. So let me show you the topics that I want to cover today. So I want to cover memory management and start with files also. Okay, so with memory management, we have already told you that instead of statically allocating memory, okay, so let us say that I want to write an program. Okay, let's say Okay, I've just created an empty file called student.c. Okay, and let's just try to write something over there. Okay, so students, is my screen visible to you?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so right now what I have done is I have declared 3 arrays, correct? I've declared 3 two-dimensional arrays, and from this what can you understand?
Sir, in the first char name, it contains 50 rows and 100 columns, means
Yeah,
like that.
correct.
And marks also the same, subject also the same.
So I can write like this, right? Let's say right? Is this okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so what essentially it means is that I have actually defined the number of students to be 50, and I have tried to create 3 arrays, one to store the names of the students, one to store the marks of the students, correct, and another one to store the subjects. So I can write so I can write it this way. All of you do agree, right? So here I have defined the number of students to be 50 and the number of subjects to be 8. Now what if I want to write a program where I do not know in advance what will be the number of students or what will be the number of subjects? So let's say we are looking, we have written a program that will actually manage the number of students and manage the results of IIIT Tiruchirappalli. So I'm saying that the number of students is 300 and the number of subjects is 8, okay, and then the marks, etc. Okay, so or let's say that I have 30 subjects and 300 students, or let's say 8 subjects and 300 students. Okay, now let us say that we want to run it for another institute, let's say a bigger institute like IIIT Allahabad. Okay, so over there if we have to write the number of students, then maybe we have to write okay, and so on. But we generally do not we will not be sharing all the source code with all the people who want to run our program, right? Say most of the time we will be giving a binary executable, okay, and when we give a binary executable, unless we have the source code, we won't be able to make any changes to our particular program and make changes to the number of students. Okay, so this is where we will learn about dynamic memory management, or so that's where we want to learn about dynamic memory management in C. And over here what we have seen is we have mentioned the exact number of students and subjects, etc. So that is static memory allocation. Okay, now let's say that if I want this to be this number, I do not know what will be the total number of students or what will be the total number of subjects. Let's say let us say that I have written this particular program for IIIT Tiruchirappalli, and I'm going to run this program for processing the results of Kerala University. Okay, so IIIT Tiruchirappalli has maximum of 300 or 330 students, while now let us say that when I am going to process the results of Kerala University, I may have to process 30,000 students, right, and I may have to process 800 subjects, or I may have to process 1200 subjects. Okay, so how do you specify, or how do you so the question is, how do we specify the length of variables, or the number of variables needed in a program if we do not completely know details about the data to be processed? Okay, so if we do not have complete information about the data to be processed, then how do we do it is the question. Okay, and that is where we have something called dynamic memory management. Okay, so dynamic memory management means that with dynamic memory management, as opposed to static memory management, we need not know the size of the variables when the program is written. Instead, the memory can be allocated to variables as per the need. Okay, so let's say the question is, let's say if I have, let's say, int or char students, okay, number, and let's say 50 student names. Okay, the question here is, if we do not know no, right, which is this no, okay, if we do not know no, then we can calculate no during runtime and then allocate the memory as required. Okay, so how do we do that? So I have told you that we have some functions like calloc, free, malloc, and realloc, etc. So let us take a look at allocating memory dynamically. So as I told you, if we have to define an array, or if we have to define a string, then we define the number of elements that we want it to be, number of elements it has to declare, right, or the number of array elements we have to declare. So that number is already known to us. Now if we do not know this 100, right, that is a case where we want to actually allocate the memory dynamically. So let us take a look at this particular example. So here in this particular example over here, a very small program is written. Okay, a very small program starting from #include stdio.h to it is printing description. Okay, so now let us take a look at what is being done in this particular program. So in this particular program, first we are declaring a string array called name with 100 characters in the array. Okay, so that is a static memory allocation, the one that I am highlighting right now. And then I am actually creating a pointer, a character pointer called description. Okay, and then I am copying a name, Sarah Ali, into the name array. Okay, so the name is a string array, or it's not a string array, but it's a character array. Okay, so I am copying the name, okay, into the character array, and then I do not know about the description. What would be the description of the person that I will have to write? Okay, so here, instead of actually assigning the address of another character variable to the pointer variable description, okay, we are actually doing something called malloc, okay, and specifying the total number of locations or space that we want to allocate for description. Okay, so this malloc, as we have seen earlier, is one of the functions. Okay, so malloc function allocates an array of number of bytes and leaves them uninitialized. Okay, so here we have a function called malloc which is used, which is taking the total number of elements that you want to declare. Okay, so if we were actually working with integer, right, then we would, if we have to have a integer array of 200 size, then it would be usually using 200 spaces into each space will be the size of integer. Okay, and the size of integer usually will be 4 bytes. Okay, so 200 into 4, meaning that it will be totally using 800 bytes of memory in your computer memory. While because it is a character, okay, as opposed to an integer, a character takes only 1 byte of memory storage. Okay, and an integer will have 4 bytes of memory storage. Okay, so here 200 into 1, so which means that 200 bytes of memory is allocated, okay, dynamically using the function malloc, and the pointer to the newly allocated memory location, right, is saved into the pointer description, or the address of the newly allocated memory location will be stored into the pointer description. And then what we will do is, if description equal to null, if let us say for some reason the memory was unable to be allocated, in that case the value of description or the pointer description will be pointing to null. Okay, it will have the value as null. Otherwise, we can copy the description. Zara Ali is a DPS student in class 10th, correct, and then we can print the details. So let us see whether this particular program can work. Okay, so I think somebody has messaged.
Sir, I had a doubt actually.
Yes, Atharva Sanjay Mare.
Sir, you said we'll be using this because we don't know the number of elements we want in our structure, right?
Correct, correct.
So instead of manually allocating, why don't we take an input from the user and then do the declaration like in
Okay,
the
are you saying
usual way?
that in this particular program example?
Yes, sir.
This is an example, right? You are free to take the user input from the user and have X here. What's stopping you
No.
from doing that? So instead
No,
of
sir.
200, right?
Yeah.
You want it to be some value that the user inputs, right?
No, sir. Like if the user inputs into something called variable a, and we declare it like normally how it like how char name 100 is declared, we'll declare it char name x.
You don't. You mean not 100?
Yeah.
Okay, so here, right, here in this particular question, the assumption is that the name will be maximum length of 100 characters. So let us try to take a look at the names of all the students in this class. Okay, so even if we take all the names of the students, and look at each of the names of the students, I don't think anybody's name would be more than 100 characters, right? Abhinit? Not Abhinit, other was Sanjay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the name in this particular example is already assigned the number of characters to be 100 with the assumption that it cannot be more than 100. But if if the number of characters is less than 100, then the total allocated space is wasted. Let us say Anoop Jacob Thomas, I think that is around 16 to 18 characters. Okay, Anoop Jacob. Okay, so 16 plus 2 spaces, you are going to get 18 characters in Anoop Jacob Thomas. And in this particular Zara Ali, right, the total number of characters is just 8, which means that out of the 100 bytes of memory that is allocated, we are actually in effect losing 92 bytes of memory storage in the memory, okay, which is actually already declared but unused, right? So for that reason, I think you can always define the total number of characters or whatever dynamically all the time, Sanjay.
Okay, sir. Thank
Okay, so and this is an example this is the first program that we are seeing, and we are trying to get started with what is memory management. Okay, so for that reason, now I'm just going to copy this particular program. Okay, I'm just going to save it as malloc example.c. Okay, so I have written it as malloc. Okay, now let us let's say instead of Zara Ali, let's have triple IT Tiruchirappalli. Okay, and let us go to triple ITT website and just go to about triple ITT. Okay, and I'm just going to copy this content. I do not know how many characters it is. Okay, okay, so I'm going to remove all the paragraphs. I mean, I'm just going to put it as one big line of text. Okay, so we don't know what is the length of this particular thing, right? Can it be 200? No, it can be much greater than 200, right? So let us say 2000. Okay, and 2000 I am going to allocate it dynamically. Okay, or let us say that let me so just like Sanjay asked us, right, let me do it this way. Int size of array, printf, enter the description text width. You know that this program is not completely correct, because I'm actually hard coding the description. I'm just copying the description to description, right? All I'm doing is I'm trying to take the number of the text bit for the description. Okay, so for that let me do scanf percentage d ampersand size of array. Okay, and let's say this is going to be size of array. Okay. Okay, by the way, there is some issue here, that is with regards to copying the content. Yeah, so there are some special characters which are not in the Unicode encoding, which can't be saved using our normal encoding, and that is the reason why they are asking for us to enter a different encoding. Now let me just try to save it. Yes, so the major culprit was the the hyphen character that you have seen here, right? So this hyphen character, where I am hovering my mouse point cursor, that is the problematic one. So I just changed it to the proper normal character, saved it, and okay, what do I do here? Sanjay More, is this something similar to what you had asked me?
No, sir.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell me what are the changes that I need to make to replicate the question that you asked me? Just minimal changes so that it can replicate the kind of question that you asked.
Sir, after the scanf, there we declare a char array and then in the bracket size of array.
Oh, you mean to say this way, size of array? Okay, and you are saying that instead of actually
Using malloc.
Right. Okay. I understood what is the kind of question that you are asking. Now, let me, for that, I have to tell you something.
Sure.
So if it was okay, now I am asking a question. I searched for Google for this particular question. In C program, can I declare variables anywhere? Okay, and you can see that modern C compilers such as GCC and CLang support the C99 and C11 standards, which allow you to declare a variable anywhere a statement could go, and the variable scope starts from the point of the declaration to the end of the block. Now this is a new thing, okay, and with regards to the earlier compilers, you could not this int z is equal to 42, right, would become an invalid statement, meaning that earlier in the earlier C programming language at the start, you could declare the variables only at the top of the program. You cannot declare the programs after you write any other statement like scanf or printf or anything. But nowadays it is not a problem. Okay, the GCC and the CLang will support the later standards, and which is very similar to C++. Okay, so Sanjay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so which means that with some compilers you will not be able to declare the variables after taking the input from the user, correct?
Okay.
Okay, so that is one problem. Now there is another problem. Okay, now I am going to show you something called linked list. Okay, here, right? Okay, so we haven't actually learned that much uh, to learn about linked list or anything so far. Okay, but I'm telling you that this linked list, okay, is a dynamically allocated memory. Okay, so in this linked list, right, each node, okay, so over here, right, you will see a small a rectangle, okay, as in it is two rectangles side by side, a square and a rectangle, right, which is named as A, B, C and D. So there are four such rectangles